What I'd like to talk about mainly with the zombies, something that we kind of pride ourselves on is getting guys signed, and a couple of our guys went overseas last year. Looking back on your career, I noticed that there was a vacated year during 1967 to 68 where maybe you had a contract, maybe issue or something clashing from the
No, I left the
NBA
NBA when I was the first player to leave the NBA to go to the ABA when the ABA started. And
Okay.
so I went there, and I actually was Kurt Flood before Kurt Flood because I challenged the reserve clause, which the NBA contracts had at that time. And it kind of
Okay.
opened the floodgates for other players to be able to go ahead and move. And I sat out that year to give them the option on the year because they said it was an option on my services. I said, okay, great. So I'll give you this year. I just won't play.
Okay.
And I don't know if it ever got resolved. And then I wound up, leaving and going to the ABA and playing there for 5 years.
All right. So being flexible and mobile was something that you like to have in your career. And how did moving and doing all that, what gave you the confidence?
Well, I was a rookie and I made all team first team all pro, was rookie of the year. And the next year I was MVP of the All-Star game and was first team all pro again. So if you can't have confidence doing that, I don't know how the hell you can have confidence. I always believe in myself. I'm an extremely confident person.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when I give speeches and talk to people and young kids, especially, or businesses or whatever, I keep talking about the fact that the key element, you can have all these other characteristics that are wonderful, pride, determination, dedication, all these other great things. And they're all wonderful to have, and you should have them. But it all leads up to the one quality that you have to have, I think, in order to be really great at what you do. And that's confidence. You got to believe in yourself.
Right.
If you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to be as great as you should be. And and then also along with it, a bunch of other stuff, learning the fundamentals of whatever business or profession you're going into. You have to have a good foundation to build on. And that's the fundamental principles and concept, just like in basketball. I mean, there's guys that have no idea, man-ball relationship, things of that nature, screening off the boards, all of the fundamental things that have gone by the wayside in the last, 10 or 20, 30 years. All of a sudden, those fundamental things are gone. Guys are so athletic. They just run and release and go try to get the rebound. And I'm just saying, yeah, well, if the guy that you're guarding is every bit as athletic or more than you, and you run to go get the rebound and he runs and he can jump higher than you, he's going to get his hands on the ball. Whereas if you screen him off, he's out of the play.
Mm-hmm.
So basic fundamental stuff is there's no replacement for that. That's why the teams that win play good, sound, fundamental basketball. And I'm sure that's what's happening here with the deal with Brian. Everybody, with Brian wants to have the team, and you want to have players that are going to play the game the right way. And it's more fun to play that way. It's more fun to watch the game when it's played that way.
Kim, can I jump in for a second?
Yeah, sure.
One of the things, Rick, I've been there now. This is my 5th season, and we started in the ABA. Obviously, it's not the same ABA that you played in back then. Now there's teams all over the place, and when we kind of made a jump last year to the East Coast Basketball League, and that's one of the things I've always stressed with these guys. Now there's so many leagues, and to get to that high level of everybody obviously dreams of the NBA, but there really is some good basketball if you do have confidence in yourself overseas, and opportunities, and I think that's a big thing that, I know I talk to my guys all the time about, at this point of your career, if you're not in the NBA or, in the G League, you're probably not going to end up there, but you can still do, with that work ethic and that confidence, you can still get yourself a pretty good career, in the game of basketball. And
there's a lot of opportunities there, and it's great that you guys are providing that. East Coast basketball leagues have been around forever. That's even back when I was a young kid, I used to have a lot of stuff going on in the East Coast as far as different leagues were concerned. So, it's great that they're there. They have an opportunity. And here's the deal. If you really can play, somebody's going to find you. You can see everything nowadays. I watched my son Canyon and all when he went over and played overseas. I'm watching his games in China. I'm watching his games in the Czech Republic. I'm watching him play in the 3x3 competition over in Paris and over in freaking Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So, people will find you. They can definitely find you. And it's just a matter of what you want to do with your life. And if basketball is your passion, as I told my son, I said, I don't know, like NBA, he should be there, by the way. My son the fact he's not in the NBA is just mind numbing to me. It really is. And this is not a father talking. I know basketball. My son can really play. And he is better than a whole bunch of guys that are in the NBA making a lot of money, and they can get him for a minimum contract. unbelievable. That's a whole nother story. So, but the thing is that, you just have to keep working at it and try to do the best that you possibly can, and hope that somebody sees you and be in the right place at the right time. It's not easy. It's a very difficult profession to get in, unless you get the publicity coming out of college and they're raving about you over there. I mean, my son was the SEC sixth man of the year, and he didn't get to go to the league and to get drafted in the first 2 rounds, whereas the prior 2 guys got drafted. I don't understand what it is. And so, but you have to stay and remain positive. And if you have a passion, and I told my son, keep working at it, because if you're lucky enough to get there, and this is what mother keeps saying, because she knows basketball, ran with USA basketball for women for 12 years and knows the game, was an All-America player. So, well, he's too old. I said, no, he's not. I said, you can still get in there. You can play till you're 36, 37, 38 years old nowadays with all the technology they have and the training that they have if you don't have any major injuries. And if you could get in that league and play 3 years, your life is set. You become a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, if you can play for 3 years and do anything at all. So don't give up on it. Plus the fact the real world is going to be there waiting for you. I mean, if you have a love and a passion for something, don't give it up. I mean, you can always go out and do something else with your life, but you only have a limited time to play basketball. So, make the most of it. And it's great that you guys there and the Zombies and everybody are given an opportunity for some of these young players to have a chance to still play the game that they love. And obviously you guys won the championship. Congratulations, by the way, on that. That was awesome. Do that, moving into the league the first year. And obviously they're playing the kind of basketball that's fun to play and fun to watch, as I mentioned earlier. So, we'll see. Hopefully the guys will be able to continue on from here and open up some opportunities. Like you say, a couple of guys got a shot to go overseas. I mean, people see you all the time. You never know what it's going to lead to. But the big thing in life that my father always told me, son, take pride in everything you do and give your best effort, regardless of what it is. Know that you tried your best. And even if you fail, it's okay, because you can feel good about yourself that you tried your best. Too many people don't always give their best effort. And as a coach, you, I'm sure, know this. You want, guys, I need your best effort. If you're not going to give me your best effort, I'll get somebody else to play.
So Rick, that leads me to a good question. Is you have this high confidence and you're bought into yourself. What gave you the confidence to buy into a coach?
I didn't buy into all my coaches. Trust me. I think I knew more about the game than some of the coaches that I had. No, what it is it's just doing it and being successful at what you do. I mean, I never went out with the idea. I went out. My father always told me, son, be aggressive. Try to look for an opportunity to score, provided one thing. You don't have a teammate in a better position. If he does, he gets the basketball. And by a better position, it doesn't mean the extra pass. I always hate it when I hear these announcers say, oh, that was a great play. You made the extra pass. Well, the extra pass is horseshit. If you throw the ball to a guy at 20 feet from the basket, you're open from 20. You can shoot better than he can, and he's open and you throw him the ball. No. If he's under the basket, every time. But you don't make the extra pass to a guy who can't shoot as well as you if you can shoot the basketball. And so it's just being unselfish, playing the game the right way, and understanding how to play. And then if you go out and you play well, you'll be successful. And the more success that you had, the more confidence you probably will get in what you do. But the biggest thing is, I tell people all the time, you cannot be afraid to fail. You're going to fail. Hell, I failed many times. But you learn from your mistakes. Intelligent people learn from their mistakes. What did I do wrong? What could I do better the next time? I'm not going to make every shot. I thought I was, but I know I'm not going to. And you just have to have that positive attitude. It's difficult. It's easy for me to say that because fortunately I was blessed with the kind of mentality to be able to deal with that and to approach it that way. A lot of people are afraid to fail. And if they're afraid to fail, you'll never be really great at what you do.
It's understandable. So the year you won your championship in 1975, I noticed that was your career highest average in steals. So is that a correlation to when you finally locked into maybe your defensive side of your career? Because when you won a scoring title, you didn't win the title that year.
No, well, that's because I had a better team, and we won the championship. But you don't do in basketball, you don't win by yourself. I mean, you only win if you have good teammates. And we were committed to defense, and so we played really good defense. I always was good in anticipation and understanding and realizing, seeing things happen, kind of like maybe before they happen, and just have a real feel for the game. I think that's the one thing, the difference between a good player and a great player. Great players have a natural feel for the game that can't be taught. And as a looking at players when I was coaching, that's the first thing I look for. I don't care about his athleticism. I don't care about a whole bunch of other things about it. But the most important thing, does he have a natural feel for the game? Because if he does, and he has poor shooting, I can make him a better shooter. But I can't make him a better, I can't teach him how to be have this great feel for the game. Like I say, people, I can teach you how to pass. I can't teach you how to see. You got to be able to see and recognize things. And that's probably the hardest part. And then the other thing, probably the most difficult thing, and I try to do that when I coached all my players, is I can't teach you or tell you what to do to stay focused when you're on the court playing. Focus is such a critical element. Coach knows. I mean, you know this, Brian. I mean, if you're playing, you can get a guy to play hard because he knows if he doesn't play hard, he's not playing.
Yeah,
but if he's playing hard and he's not focused, he's going to be a half a step late. If you're a half a step late in basketball, you're history. That's what I tell people. I never felt I had to get by my guy. I just needed to get even with my guy. That's a half a step. If he's on my shoulder, I own him.
Yep, he's beat at that point. Yep.
Yeah, he's beaten. I own him. I mean, so, you know, and that's the hard part, staying focused. When I coached, I had my assistants and all, we always had something we looked at. The amount of time that we played focused defense, right? That we played tough focused defense. And the correlation to that is to what our lead was in the game and where we stood. The more minutes we played focused basketball, the greater our margin of victory was in games. There's a direct correlation between the two.
Absolutely.
But guys just don't know how to stay focused. It's not, I said, guys, I'm not asking you to stay focused for 48 minutes. Okay. I said, give me 40. I am telling you right now, if we've set 40 minutes of focused basketball, especially on defense, we're going to win a lot of basketball games because the defense is going to keep us in it. It's the one part of the game that be consistent. Offense, a lot of times, is a roller coaster ride. You're up and down, but defense can be consistent and constant. And that's what you have to do. And you have to be able to learn how to understand to play good team defense, but you have to stay focused.
Well, Rick, I think you'd really like Robbie Jones on our team. You know, this season, I think he's a very savvy vet. He's one of the older guys on our roster, but at the same time, he's the spark plug. I think when Robbie gets going, everybody feeds off of it. And he could slash, he could pass. He plays great defense, help side. Coach Brian, if you definitely have more war stories on Robbie than I do.
Yeah, I mean, the guy he's referring to, Rick, we have a guard who's about 5'6". Maybe he says he's 5'7". I don't believe it. But you know, that's one of the things that you said, Rick. You know, I try to focus, tell these guys, you know, obviously our style, the game that we play, it's high scoring, it's fast paced. But I mean, down the stretch, even with the playoffs, you know, that defensive focus, like you talk about, I mean, we don't win our semifinal game without locking in defensively, you know, down the stretch. And that came from playing throughout the game. You know, it's not a switch, you know, especially on that defensive side. You know, a lot of guys think they could just kind of flip that switch. You know, and some of these guys, like you said, they're not always the most talented or the best basketball players, but when they play they play that defensive side and they have that hustle all the time. I mean, that's one of the things I just stepped out of a practice with my prep school team right now. They're in the gym right now about 100 feet away from me practicing, you know, and that's the thing we've been stressing with those guys too. You know, you're at a level now where you're looking for that next opportunity, that scholarship, you know, and everybody at the Division I and Division II level can score the basketball, but it's really what you do to lock in, you know. And I think our guys, especially to be able to continue their careers at 28, 29, 30 years old, that's really where they've been able to do it, you know, is on that defensive side of the basketball where, you know, everybody could stand around and knock down the open three. I mean, I'm not really much of a perimeter player, but I can tell you what, if you give me a ball open, I can knock down a wide open three, you know. So, you know, and that's one of the big things we stress with our guys, you know, and at any level, you're not winning championships without getting that, you know, and having guys like Robbie and, you know, some of our returning guys, Marcel Brown and Tyler DeRozier's and some of those guys, you know, those are reasons why we had the success and have had the success over the last couple of years.
Well, it all starts on the defensive end of the court. I mean, if you're not going to make a commitment to defense, you're not going to be a championship caliber team. That's one of the redeeming things about the NBA, as much as the garbage that goes on in some of the ways some of these teams play that I can't even stand. But if you focus in on the defense, you're going to give yourself in every game to have a chance to play when the offense isn't necessarily going well. And it really becomes contagious. I mean, it really does. You got to take great pride in that. And that's what we did as a Warriors team in '75 when we pulled off the greatest upset in the history of the NBA Finals by sweeping a team that was supposed to sweep us. It was supposed to be the biggest mismatch in the history of the NBA Finals. It turned out to be the biggest upset. And it was because of our commitment to playing defense. And that's what it takes from the guys, because it's not about you anymore. When you put your uniform on in the game of basketball, it now is no longer about you. It's about the team. What can I do to help our team win basketball games? And if you're willing to play unselfishly and you have a good understanding of the game, and it's required of you by the coach to play good, sound, fundamental team defense, you're going to be a competitive team. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I believe it. In this team, in this season, we have Kevin McLaughlin. He's a big that we had from last year. He's about 6'11", and from the tryouts, it looks like he expanded his range. I know we shoot on the high school range in our league, but he really looked good to be 6'11" and everything, and his touch inside was always good. But yeah, the tryouts, he tried a couple from distance, and his form looked better, and a couple fell.
Yeah, well, I mean, the big guys all want to shoot 3-point shots nowadays. Like the guy in the post is almost like the going way of the dinosaur, but you really should have both games. I mean, the great thing about having that is you can always be an inside-out team, creates opportunities for you, put a lot of heat on the other team to stop you from inside, and then you can kick out and get opportunities. But if you can get a big guy who can pull a good defender away from the basket, you know, now that opens up things for the driving lanes for your teammates. And I used to post up. I had some guys that were 6'2", 6'3". They were beasts in the post. It doesn't have to be a 6'11" guy posting up. I mean, if you got a guy that's smart and tricky inside, I'm going to post him up. I mean, and I love doing that. And I always thought when the Warriors had Baron Davis, and I know Baron quite well, and I talked to him a little bit after he was done with the Warriors, and we went on a cruise together. Actually, I said, Baron, let me tell you something. If I was coaching you, I would have posted you up so often. You are a big, strong point guard. I said, so if you're out there abusing somebody, they have to come and double team you. Well, who do I want better to pass the damn ball to open teammates than my point guard?
Yep, absolutely. You know, we have a guy like that too. You know, like you said, Kevin's a guy, he's 6'11", but he went into high school at like 6'1" as a junior in high school, and shot up to about 6'3" or 6'4" as a senior, and then shot up again his senior year of high school, going into his freshman year of college, and actually ended up as a D2 walk-on until late in his career, because he was a guard that really just shot up, which I think that's every kid's dream, to be a 6'1" kid at 15 years old, and be 6'11" by the time you're 19 or 20, you know. But yeah, no, leading into that, you know, we have another guy, Marcel Brown, who, it's exactly what you said, Rick. He's the undersized, 6'2", strong, you know, smart player, you know, athletic, you know, and just a tough-nosed player where guys respect him, you know, respect his game. Like you said, not the most physically imposing guy, but he's a smart player, gets guys involved, you know, doesn't, you know, not going to average 30 a game, but, you know, he's a guy that'll play, you know, 38 to 42 minutes every game for us, because he's able to play the game the right way and do those little things, you know, where he pulls the guy outside. And, you know, at 6'2", it's nice to have that.
You can't have all Chiefs. You have to have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, I've had some of those.
I apologize to the Indian Nation if somebody's listened to this. I'm not saying that in an offensive way, since we're so damn sensitive about things these days. It's unbelievable. That's a compliment. You know, that's a compliment.
Yeah, yep. Not everybody can be the president of the United States. You know, there's 300 million people in here. There's only one, you know.
Room interview, okay.
Let's get it out.
So, I'm really looking forward to, you know, seeing how and getting involved and seeing what the Zombies wind up doing, and looking forward to getting out there and meeting the fans and meeting the players, and get to see you in person out there, Brian. And hopefully when I'm out there, I might be able to go ahead and be able to convey a few things to the players to help make them a little bit better. So I'm looking forward to that when the opportunity arises, and to be a part of what seems like a really great start to being a part of the new Eastern League. It's nothing like being the champion.
Yeah, yep, no, it is.
All right, well, hey, thank you, Rick. I appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure, Cameron. And yeah, Brian, I'm looking forward to, as I say, meeting you and meeting the fans out there. I'll be out there, you know, a couple different times, depending upon what the schedule is like. But I wish you all the best. And if you have something with some of your players that you're looking at with the shooting and stuff, take some video of it and send it to me, and I can critique it real easy. Just take it from the front, from the back, and from the sides. And because I mean, everybody can learn to become a better shooter. I mean, that's something that can be taught. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The other stuff, no, you can't do it, but shooting can. I mean, you can make somebody into a much better shooter. I think all I got LeBron James to do, and I made a big stink about it. He had such horrible form. I was appalled that a coaching staff having a kid with this incredible amount of talent and ability had some of the worst shooting forms with his elbow flying, and nobody said anything about it. And I made a big deal about it. And you look at his shooting form in his first few years, and then look at it later, big improvement. And it still is Achilles tendon. He still isn't a great shooter. He's still streaky. And you see, great shooters rarely miss left and right. Rarely will miss left and right. And LeBron was all over the place, and he's still not a great. He's never been an 80% free throw shooter. Now, if you're not an 80% free throw shooter, you're not a good shooter. It's end of story. And I'll go to my grave with that one. Anyway, guys, great to talk to you. I got to run off to this other charity function, but looking forward to seeing you guys in person.
All right, thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right.
God bless.
Thank you, Rick.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.